Good morning, all. So here's my rant. Here are just a few things that I guess it's safe to say, hate, but I don't watch a lot of this anymore. I think it was better in the 70s, 80s, I guess even the 90s, but maybe that's when it all started to go downhill. So hate's a strong word, but some of this stuff has gotten completely out of hand. I'll start with the Olympics. I think the Olympics were better when there was amateur athletes in the Olympics. Remember the 70s and 80s? Just watching these kids come up. Some of these kids were in high school, a month before the Olympics. Here they are on a Olympic stage in front of the world, competing for the love of the game, just for the competition. Okay? Basketball, hockey. In fact, I just watched the movie Miracle, which the U.S. hockey team was a bunch of kids. If you remember this, it was at Lake Placid. They were a bunch of kids that got together. I say kids, they were all in college. And they ended up beating the Russian team, who was the best hockey team in the world. Even though they were amateurs, they defeated the NHL All-Star team, okay, which... These are professional athletes, and they got schooled by these group of amateur Russians. And then our kids came in, and Herb Brooks put together this team and a philosophy, and he got the kids to buy in. And I'll tell you what, watch the movie Miracle with Kurt Russell. It's a great movie. It's 2 hours. It's worth every minute. Sends chills up my spine when I watched it. You get that patriotic feel, okay? You get the underdog winning. And we're the underdog, so it was even better. But it was just great. It's great to watch the amateur Olympics, the boxing matches. These weren't overpaid athletes competing. They were kids just competing at all costs for the love of the game. I firmly agree that the first Dream Team, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and that crew, because that was the best team ever assembled, in my opinion. It was a great idea. I think it worked, but it should have been a one and done. I don't want to call it a gimmick because it was pretty cool to watch all these guys on the same team. But here we are 30 years later, 25, 30 years later, and we're watching NBA All-Star games. Nobody wants to watch the NBA All-Star game. Ratings are down, but here we are. Now we got to watch them in the Olympics too. These spoiled millionaires playing teams that, they shouldn't even be playing. Put the amateurs back in. Put the high school kids back in. Put the college kids back in. Give them a chance. It was more exciting back then. Okay, nobody wants to watch this overhyped NBA All-Star game anymore. Okay, all these athletes are millionaires. Don't want to watch them. Don't watch them in the NBA. I don't want to watch them in the Olympics. Go back to amateur athletes. So... political correctness is another thing that's ruined this country. Everybody's afraid to insult somebody or be insulted. I'm going to go to my safe space. Too bad. If you're insulted, toughen up. Okay? Some of the harshest things ever said to me were said by my best friends. We used to cut each other up. Nobody ever got mad. Nobody got insulted. We all just kind of moved on. So... if you're insulted, toughen up. Fix what's broke. Control what you can. Don't worry about what you can't. Go do your thing. Everybody gets insulted. It's simple, but you move on. Life's hard. I liked Hollywood back in the 70s and 80s. Okay? They had some great stuff back then. Great movies, great series, Happy Days, Welcome Back, Kotter, What's Happening, Jeffersons, Archie Bunker, all that. Nobody got insulted. Nobody got mad. It never got political. Okay? Movies. Do you remember Jaws? The first time? My God, that movie was epic. Okay? It's still one of a kind. I remember waiting online at the drive-thru for over, it seemed like hours. Probably was. The line, I guess they were miles long. We actually overheated the first night we went and broke down. Had to go back the second night, but we finally made it to the movie. That movie had such an impact on people's lives. People were afraid to go in the water. We grew up on Long Island. and you would go to the beach and nobody would go in the water. So that, Rocky, remember Rocky? Star Wars. When these movies came out, it was epic. It was awesome. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Now Hollywood's just a bunch of sequels, continuations of movies, and the Marvel series. Okay, they can't come up with anything new, so they just piggyback off old movies. Okay, oh, that character was white in that movie, so let's make him black now. Or that character was a male, now let's make him gay. Or let's make it a female. Let's make our political statements. No, let's not. Come up with something new. The money you guys charge is ridiculous, and I know people pay it, but Hollywood's just not the same. Hollywood, to me, is done. Okay, they peaked in the 70s and 80s. Now, on top of that, you got athletes running their mouth, not athletes, actors running their mouths, like Robert De Niro, who thinks he can relate to us, the average people living week to week. He can tell us what's best for us. So I think it's a joke. I think actors, I like them better when we didn't know what they did in their personal life. When they were in the movies, that's great. That's what you're paid to do. Nobody wants to hear your political statements, who you voted for, or who we should vote for. We'll make our own opinions on that. So, overpaid actors and celebrities. I still can't believe that the Kardashians are as popular, are considered celebrities and are as popular as they are. All of them. And I mean, her mom pimped her out. Her mom picked the one of the 3 sex tapes, Kim Kardashian's mom. And here they are years later, the whole family's a bunch of celebrities, very popular, and I think a couple of them have even hit the billionaire status. So we've got to do better at picking who we make celebrities. It was better way back then. Award ceremonies. Who likes award ceremonies? I haven't watched one. Not even sports ceremonies. ESPN made that clear when they voted Caitlyn Jenner an award for Woman of the Year. It must have been, 8 or 10 years ago. But it's a joke. It's political statements now. You can buy the award. Who just won Country Music Award of the Year was, what's her name? I can't even think of her name now. There's nothing country about her. Beyonce. Nothing country about her. It's a joke. If you listen to the other songs on her album, it's all her regular stuff. But she labels it country and then she wins the award. Come on. That's terrible. It's a shot at real country artists. So, news. What news is real anymore? We don't know. It's gotten so politicized and so hokey. They all say the same thing. Nobody reports the news anymore. They give their opinions. They talk about what they're told to talk about. They're all bought and paid for. Both sides of the aisle, right and left. It's a joke anymore. So, sports was much better in the 70s and 80s and even before because they did it for the love of the game. There's a difference. When you do it for the love of the game, it's emotional. It's fun to watch. You got tough, hard-nosed athletes doing it because they love to do it and they want to compete. Not multi-millionaires doing it because they're protecting their brand or making their brand. And now, not only do we have pro athletes making millions of dollars, but we got college athletes with the NIL money. So we've ruined that too. Got 10, 20 guys on each college football team jumping ship every year to enter the portal because they can make more NIL money on another team. So college sports, the rivalries are going to start fading away because you're going to have a different team every year. You don't have the same athletes because they're entering the portal, making more money. Free agency in pro sports, I mean, that's been around for a while, but you can't have a favorite team. I used to love the Mets back in the day. But the team was basically the same every year. They had a couple of subtractions, couple of additions every year, but the core was the same. So you can have a favorite. Now you can't. It changes every year, no matter what the sport. Everybody jumps ship. Watching NBA from time to time, I'll watch it on YouTube or a highlight video will come up, and you get a guy that's 6'9", dunk the ball, and then scream and like tear open his shirt like Superman, like he did something spectacular. At 6'9", when you dunk, you got to get maybe 6 inches off the ground. You're not doing anything spectacular. They've been doing it for years. Hundreds of people do it. Kids in high school dunk. You're not doing anything spectacular. Scored your 2 points, now run up court and play defense. Okay? The 3-point line. You got one guy dribbling the ball, and you got 4 other guys just waiting at the 3-point line to get the pass so they can shoot a 3-pointer. Okay? Nobody drives the lane anymore. There's no more creativity. No more toughness. Michael Jordan was the best. Magic and Larry Bird were close. But, yeah, no, LeBron, no. Sorry. High school sports. Now they've added charter schools to high school sports, which is basically legalized recruiting. Okay, you get all these kids that go to like an IMG Academy. Look at their football team. Nobody's from Bradenton, Florida. They're all from all over the country, and these are all nationally ranked athletes on the team. Basketball, football, it's all the same. So they're taking kids from their local high schools where they grew up with their friends to now play here at this charter school. Okay? It takes the fun out of the game. It takes the love of the game is gone, because now these kids are being, recruited as teenagers. It's a shame, but the adults got involved and made it a business, which once a sport becomes a business, it's done. People still go, people still flock to it, pay a lot of money to watch these sports, but it's not the same as it was in the 70s and 80s. Sorry, I'll take a Dick Butkus over anybody these days. The toughness, Ronnie Lott, Lawrence Taylor. I'll take an Earl Campbell over any running back nowadays. Walter Payton, Barry Sanders. These are the best guys that ever do it. Sorry. Modern day athletes are much bigger, stronger, but they're nowhere near as tough, and they don't do it because they love the game. They do it to grow their brand, for the business end of it. So, high school sports, sideline reporters. Come on, really? Let me interview the coach. They got a female sideline reporter interviewing both head coaches before the games, and then at halftime when the coaches are trying to get into their locker room to make adjustments with their team. They got to stop. They're contracted to do this. Stop and talk to the female reporter like she's going to get their game plan. She's really going to get what they're thinking. Okay? One, they don't want to be there. They want to be in the locker room with the teams, coaching, and they're not going to give you any information that's newsworthy. So get rid of sideline reporters. It's a wasted position. It's a waste of time. Doesn't belong. Just another reason why you don't watch it. So covered the Olympics, award ceremonies, news, politics. I liked it better when we didn't know who the politicians were. You maybe knew the president, vice president, but now they all got social media. It's everywhere. We're tired of it. I'm tired of it. I don't know if you are. Back in the 70s and 80s, that's it. You knew the top 2 people, maybe 1 or 2 others. But that's it. Run the country. Stop taking the money. Come on. Run the country. It's not a game. These are people's lives. Okay? You kind of run it into the ground. If our government was a business, they'd be out of business right now. So, all right. So these are just things. Let's see. Reality shows. Didn't have them back then. Okay? We had maybe the superstars on Sundays on Wide World of Sports, but that was it. Reality. They're not reality. They're all scripted. We can tell. Okay? Nobody wants to watch them. It's a joke. Reaction videos. People reacting to the Bee Gees like they don't know who the Bee Gees are, like they've never heard this song before. They're like, oh my God. Come on, man. This is one of the most successful groups ever. Guns N' Roses. Oh, really? Reaction to like you've never heard a Guns N' Roses song. Come on. It was better back then. It was more real. Okay. That's the end of my rant. Hey, if you like anything I said, if you've agreed with it, don't agree with it, do me a favor, give me a like and subscribe. I could certainly appreciate it. I could use it. And thank you guys. Have a great day.